Hi there, heavy haulers and flat towers. Today we're going to be taking a look at TireMinder's i10 tire pressure monitoring system. The i10 tire monitoring system is a quick and easy way to be able to monitor the tire pressures of 10 different tires. You'll receive 10 sensors in the kit. So with 10 sensors, in most cases, that's going to cover like a motorhome. That's 6 tires on this motorhome because we've got dual wheels on the rear axle. So we've got 6 there, and we've got 4 on the vehicle we're pulling behind us. But it's also great for other towing. Let's say instead of we had the motorhome pulling our truck, we had our truck here pulling a gooseneck. And we might have 6 tires on our gooseneck, and we need 4 tires for our truck. So you can use these sensors in a lot of different ways to monitor your whole rig. That's going to be the vehicle that you're driving as well as whatever you're towing behind you. And you can actually set these up with different profiles. So maybe if you do have a flat tow setup like this customer here could have a profile set up for his motorhome, and for his truck here, you can get different sensors and set up a different profile for a truck and trailer. And with just one monitor, you can pair up to 20 sensors. So you can add more as you see fit for the various components and trailers or combinations that you're going to be setting up. And this system's completely wireless. This is the monitor that you would have inside your motorhome. It's battery operated. You can charge it with a micro USB connection, just like your cell phone. You can plug it in and charge it up. But it's cool that it's wireless. That makes getting this set up really easily. All the sensors are completely wireless, and we can bring this around with us as we're programming all of our sensors and stuff. So that's really nice for making sure you're getting it all set up properly. And this is what one of our sensors look like. We've got all 10 installed between our motorhome and the vehicle that we're pulling behind it here. And while this truck here does have tire pressure monitoring built into it, you can only see it when you're driving the truck. So when you're pulling it behind you, you really don't have an idea of what's going on back here. If you hit something on the road, got a nail in your tire, and you're losing pressure, well, you're not going to know when you're pulling it behind your motorhome until you get to your destination and see that you've got a ruined tire, and you know you can't drive the vehicle you brought with you. With this, you can get real-time information to ensure that the pressure in your tires are fine as you're pulling your vehicle behind you. And this is the same if you were pulling a trailer or anything like that. With those heavier loads and stuff, it can be really important to make sure you got proper tire pressure in those heavier trailers. So monitor all that as well. Make sure you get to your destination without any issues. And I like these even if you do have tire pressures. I still like this even when you're driving your vehicle around and using this over the factory tire pressure system. Because usually the factory tire pressures, they have usually 1 of 2 ways that they work. They either have a actual pressure sensor inside the tire, and once that pressure in the tire gets below a certain threshold, it'll turn a light on letting you know, hey, air this tire up. It's below that threshold. The other way that your factory vehicles monitor like your tire pressure to let you know if it's low is based on wheel speed. Because as you lose pressure in your tire, the tire actually gets slightly smaller, and it'll actually be spinning a little bit faster than it would be if it was at the same size. So you can use wheel speed to help determine whether or not your tire is low on air. But neither of those are really a good real-time adjustment for if you have a massive leak. So let's say you get a good hole in your tire and it's leaking out fairly rapidly, enough to where maybe you're losing a few PSI every 5 to 10 minutes. So this could happen while you're driving it, and by the time the light comes on your factory, for the factory sensors, it's already pretty low at that point. Well, the TireMinder here, this actually, not only does it monitor the tire pressure all the time for you and the baseline that you have it set for to let you know if you're below that, it also measures how much that pressure has changed over time. So if you lose so many PSI in so many minutes, it's gonna let you know, hey, you've got a large leak. You need to pull over right now and check it, versus the factory one's not gonna let you know anything usually until you're below that threshold point. And that could be too late. You might not be able to make it to any place to air up that tire or do anything. You're just gonna have to pull over and call somebody. Whereas you can get that real-time update here, pull off the road and maybe make it to that gas station or wherever you need to stop to get that taken care of. And another thing this monitors that the factory tire pressure monitoring systems don't monitor is tire temperature. And that can be important if you've got a brake that's dragging or wheel bearings that are going out and they're heating up. Those are the most common causes for excess tire pressure. You'll get some feedback on that. It'll let you know, hey, your tire is exceedingly hot. That'll give you the opportunity to pull over and assess the situation, figure out, hey, do I got brakes dragging? Do I have some wheel bearings that might need to be repacked, re-greased, replaced, whatever needs to go on there. So it's really cool you get that, because that's not something that you're going to get with the factory ones. They're not going to let you know about those that overheating issue, which can point to those other potential issues. Here on our screen, we can see the tire pressures. This is after you've got it all programmed and set up. You've got your front and your rear, and it does cycle back and forth through those so you can see them. Now you have the option of putting these tire pressure sensors wherever you like. The way we have it set up is we have the motorhome as the top and our vehicle the bottom, and we have them separated front to rear. So these are our rear tires inside and out for the motorhome, and that's our vehicle that we're pulling. This is the front tires for the vehicle we're pulling, and our front motorhome tires. You could put all the motorhome on the front and have your towed vehicle all the rear, or your trailer, whatever you're pulling. You have the complete option of that. And once you program these sensors to this location, they're not set to that location forever. You can delete all the sensors and start over, or you could delete each sensor individually and move it to a new location if you want. There are a couple of different modes you can enter in your system here. The monitoring one is just the typical mode that you're going to be in when you're using it. But when you first get it, you're going to need to program it. And to get into the programming mode, you're going to hold down both the left and right buttons on top, and it'll have an L there showing it's in the learn mode. Here you can select which position you want to program a sensor to, and to program a sensor, you simply screw it on. Now, if the sensor is already programmed, it's going to stay in the position that it's in. To delete an individual sensor, you can take the middle button here and hold that down whenever you're selected on a sensor, and that will delete it. We'll be showing you how to do this here a little bit later. You can also delete all the sensors in this mode by holding down the center button and the right button, and that'll just kind of factory reset it and get rid of all the sensors. So you could put them on a whole different motor home, trailer, move all your positions around, do whatever you need to do. To get out of this mode, we can just hold both of the buttons on top, the left and the right, to bring us back to the monitoring mode. If we hold down the center button, this will take us into the programming mode. This is where you'll set the base tire pressure, and where you set your base tire pressure, your unit of measurement, and your temperature unit of measurement there as well. To get out of this mode, you'll simply hold down the center button. There's also an auto search feature, and this is mainly used after your motorhome's been in storage for several months. After it's been in storage for several months, it is possible that everything goes to sleep, and when you wake it back up again, some of the sensors aren't going to excite themselves, and they may not. You may not get a reading from them. You might just get like a signal loss or something like that. Don't freak out, no big deal. We'll hit the auto search, and that just kind of takes everything and makes it all reset and relook for itself to repair. It's not going to change any positions or any programming you've got. It's basically just, it's like turning your computer off and turning it back on again, just kind of like have it reboot. To do that, you're going to hold the middle and the right button. So they all go to 0, and it can take up to about 20 minutes for each sensor to re-find its location that it was in. There's one more mode on here that's really cool for being able to choose between different vehicles and trailers. If you've got maybe multiple vehicles you flat tow with, you can swap between those, or if you have multiple different trailers that you want to use, you can easily swap between these. To do that, we're going to hold the center button and the left arrow, and that's going to go to D for the vehicle select, and in here you can choose which sensors go to which vehicle, and you can see front you got 0, 1, and 2. So you have 3 different vehicles you can set for the front. So we're just gonna stay with 0, hit the middle button to go to rear, and here you can choose whether it's vehicle 0, 1, or 2. And we'll just hit the middle button. And you can actually program each sensor to be a specific vehicle, so that way when you go to swap, you can select which vehicle it is. So all of ours were currently set to vehicle 1, so we're just going to go back to 1 and click that, go back to 1 so you can see there. And now to get back out of this mode, we're going to press the middle and the left button again. And you can see we're right back to where we were. So now you can see here that we've switched back to our monitoring mode, and it's only showing us the rear for vehicle 1 because we only have sensors paired to vehicle 1. So we switched to front for vehicle 2. Well, we don't have any sensors paired to vehicle 2, so it's just not even going to bother swapping over to show us that. So we'll just get back in the mode now. We're going to switch the front vehicle back to 1. And there we go, we've got our rear sensors. It may take it a minute to reestablish connection with the sensors for the front vehicle. There we go, we got 1, and it will eventually reconnect with those other ones. Whenever you swap vehicles, it does do this. It does kind of like a repairing, because it knows it doesn't need to look for the sensors for the other vehicles that you're not using right now. It's only going to be mainly paying attention to these. So it can take up to 20 minutes for it to fully update back to reading all those sensors. So now we're at our vehicle and we're looking at the front driver's side tire. It's about 41 pounds. We're going to go ahead and induce a leak situation by just loosening this up. And we're going to show you that if you have a massive leak, that it's going to let you know. So here you can see our pressure is at 27 and it's flashing. So that's below our threshold. Our threshold, we've got it set to what the door sticker said, and that was 36 pounds. So the way this works is that you get about 20% plus or minus. If you're over 20%, you're overinflated, it'll let you know. And if you're under 20% from what you have it set to, you're underinflated, and it'll let you know. But we don't have any audible beeps or anything like that. It's just a flashing with a warning letting you know, hey, it's low, this is a slow leak. I'm gonna go ahead and air the tire back up now, and then we're gonna simulate a fast leak so you can see how the monitor would respond in that situation. So we have gone ahead and aired it back up, and you notice that the triangle that was there is gone. We're not flashing anymore, and there was a flashing red dot up there as well, and all those are all gone now that we've aired it back up. We're in our normal state once again. So we're going to simulate a massive leak by just unscrewing the sensor, and boom, the system now thinks you have 0 pounds in this. Let's see how it responds here. There we go. We've got an audible beep now along with the warning indicators and the flashing pressure of 0 because I unscrewed it, and it's beeping at you, letting you know like, hey, you need to take care of this right now. You have had a massive leak. So we'll screw that back on, and that should take it out of the fault mode because it shows that we're now aired up again. So you can see it is different versus like a slow leak. Maybe when you come out in the morning and you get in and the temperature dropped quite a bit and your tires are a little low, you just get those flashing like that with the warning indicators. Versus a massive leak, you're going to get that audible warning to let you know like, hey, you need to check this out right now. Next, we're going to simulate an overinflation. So we're going to go ahead and overinflate the tire. It triggers when you're about 20% over what you have your baseline set. So our baseline's at 36 because that's what our door sticker said. So we've put about 46 pounds in the tire. We make sure we don't exceed the maximum pressure of the tire when we're running this test. And then we're just going to screw this back on. And now we can see we're getting our tire reading. We'll see when it swaps back to front, but we do have our warning lights going off there, letting us know, hey, there's something going on here. And there we go. It's flashing at us, and it has a red box around it, you know, kind of letting us know, hey, your pressure needs to be adjusted. And it was reading 47. That is more than 20% above what we set our baseline to for this tire, and that's letting us know. So I'm going to go ahead and take the tire pressure back down to where it was at, right about 40 here. Now that we've adjusted our tire pressure back to where it was, we're going to take a heat gun now, and we're going to try to simulate an over temperature situation because we know we don't have any brakes dragging or any issues, and we're not going to induce an issue onto this truck to like that to simulate this. So we're just going to try putting heat directly to the sensor and seeing if we can get it to activate. All right, and our heat gun was able to trigger it. We've got our warning now that the temperature is over what it's supposed to be. It looks similar to a lower high pressure warning, but if you look at the top, it says temperature on it, letting us know that it is an over temperature issue. And in this case, this is where you would want to pull over pretty much immediately and see what you got going on. Because typically if you have an over temperature situation, it's caused by damaged components like brake rotors with sticking brake pads where they're dragging, causing a lot of heat, and you're just kind of pulling it, dragging your brakes. So you definitely want to stop and get that taken care of so you don't damage the vehicle you're pulling behind you. Could also indicate issues with the wheel bearings and stuff going on back there. And all those situations are really important that you stop and get it taken care of because it's going to lead to expensive repairs, and it's probably going to lead to you being broken down in the near future if you don't address it. And that completes our look at TireMinder's i10 tire pressure monitoring system.